Are you ready to turn heads? Luxury isn't just worn, it's experienced. Introducing a Layla Cara style and new up-and-coming designer collection where exclusive shoes and bags for men and women meets your feet. How about you take a handbag and wear it in style, where each piece is personally designed by Layla Carroll herself and handcrafted from the finest material in Italy. Leather, smooth like butter, bold, timeless, distinctly you. Step into true elegance and make your mark with a Layla Cara style where confidence meets craftsmanship. Visit a Layla Cara style and experience the luxury of art that you wear. Welcome back to another episode of Improving Your Thoughts by Freeing Yourself. I'm your host, Layla Cara, and today we are going to talk about something that is going to challenge you, inspire you, and hopefully free you. Let's talk about happiness. I'm not talking about the kind of happiness that is only temporary, the kind that you get from a new relationship or a shopping spree. No, I'm talking about the real happiness that resides inside of you, the kind that is rooted in self-awareness, self-love, and personal responsibility. Today's episode is titled, You Are Responsible for Your Own Happiness. Let that sink in for a little while. Just give it a minute to just think about that. Yeah. You are responsible for your own happiness. Not your partner, not your children, not your job. You. Yes, you and only you. I want to talk about the myth of they make me happy. Have you said that before? Do you know anybody who have said that before? I do. See, I used to say stuff like that. They make me happy. But what we need to realize is that we should never rely on another person to bring us joy as well as happiness. Let's start with a simple phrase that we hear all the time. And you know, this is something that happens so often to the point that we think is normal and that it's okay. Maybe something like, he ruined my day. Or, she ruined my night. Oh my God, I am so disgusted with this person because every time they come around, they make me feel so angry. Or let's say it this way. He makes me so happy. Okay? Yes, that's a problem. We have to change the narrative, you guys. We have to change it. Instead of thinking that is the way it's supposed to be, it's time to reframe and start thinking in another way. It sounds like it's harmless. I know it does. But the truth is that every time we say that someone make us feel something, we're giving away our power. Yes, when you say that, you're literally giving away your power to the person, because if that person make you happy today, what if they make you sad, angry, and depressed tomorrow? So you literally gave that power of the way you feel to them. That's what you're doing. You're saying here, you can have control of how I feel. That's what you're actually saying to them. Now, I get it. People do influence us. That's something that happens all the time. We're always influenced and inspired by others. And they can bring us joy. They can also bring us pain. Whew, Lord knows I know it, especially dealing with my own mother. But I get joy from my son, right? But the thing is that I can't rely on my happiness to come from my family. I cannot. And that's what I'm trying to say to you guys, that you shouldn't rely on others to bring you happiness. Happiness is from within you. It comes out of you and then it oozes into the world. So at least what you should be doing is taking a step back and then think to yourself, instead of saying they make me happy, you can say, I enjoy being around this person because this person is pleasant to be around. See? Something different, right? But you have to also understand that at the end of the day, your emotional reactions is yours to own, not somebody else. Think about this. Two people can go through the same experience at the same exact time, and both of them can walk away feeling completely different. Why is that? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because how you feel is based on your perspective, and how they feel is based on their circumstances. That's the reason why it can be completely different. So that's why you don't go into your life thinking, I need to be with somebody because they make me happy. So let's talk about this. I know that owning your own happiness can be both scary, but at the same time, liberating. Here's the hard part for you. If your responsibility is for your happiness, and I mean for your own happiness, that means that you can't blame anyone else anymore for how you feel. Nope. You cannot blame someone because you're bitter. No. You can't blame your ex-boyfriend for making you bitter or your ex-husband for making you bitter. That's your responsibility. You're choosing to be that way. See, I remember when I divorced my first husband, and after him, when I got into another relationship, I didn't marry the guy, of course, but I remember thinking to myself, all men are the same. I can't trust them. I need to just say, forget it. The thing about that situation was that he had a twin sister, an identical twin. They look so much alike too. If she was a boy, you'd think she was actually him. That's how close they look alike. The thing is that she was engaged when I met her, and she had just had her second child by her fiance. Things did not go well in that relationship to where they had to split and part ways. The thing I paid attention to the most about her is that she decided to have a man bashing party every single week. Her and a group of ladies would go to a mutual spot that they chose. Sometimes it was different restaurants most of the time. Sometimes it was even clubs, but mainly restaurants. And they would sit down, they would order their food and their drinks, and they would have a man bashing party. This is the first time I ever heard of something like this before. I have never experienced this. Now, keep in mind, I am dating her brother. And I'm saying to myself, I can't go to this party because I'm dating your brother. I cannot bash men when I'm actually involved with a man, which is your brother. This is not going to work. Because I remember her inviting me to come, and he was my boyfriend, wasn't even engaged yet. He was like, you're not going to that party. That don't make no sense. So what you gonna do? Go there and bash me? I'm like, that is crazy, But the thing is that they was bitter. And he said it himself. He said, hey, ain't nothing but just bitter women who are mad because they broke up with their exes and their exes didn't do right or whatever, their boyfriends or whatever didn't do right by them. So don't go to that party. And he didn't have to worry about me. I wasn't going to go no way. But that was the first time I ever noticed about a bitter man bashing party. So that was something that they chose to do though. Did it bring them happiness? Oh no, it didn't. Because when she came back to the house, she was even more angry. Her and her brother would get into it. And she was like, all your men are the same. All you guys are the same. And I'm thinking like, okay, that sounds like a problem that I don't want to get involved in. So I stayed out of it. Now, you can't blame your boss for your burnouts. I'm going to talk about this a little bit because sometimes you can blame your boss for your burnout. And the reason why I'm saying that is because what I mean is that if you're working a job and your boss is constantly overloading you with work, the only way that you cannot blame them for your burnout is that you have went to your boss and you told them how you're feeling. You also told them that it's too much on you, that you need help. You have explained your situation to them and you let them know, and you must use these words clearly to them. I am burning out. If you do not give me the help that I need, I will not perform at my best. Please stop overloading me with all this extra work. Can you send me some help? Or can you take some of this workload off of me? But if you don't tell them that, now you can't blame them for your burnout. That's what I mean by that. Had to clear that up. You also can't blame your childhood forever. Now, we all had some things that happened to us in our childhood. Some worse than others. No matter how bad your childhood was, if you survived it, meaning that you are still alive to this day and you're listening to this podcast right now, that means you survived it. If you can hear me talking to you and you are breathing out of your nostrils or you are breathing on your own, you survived your childhood. So that means you cannot blame your childhood forever. You have to change the narrative. You are responsible for your own happiness. And I say this with love. Blaming feelings, good or bad, you must take responsibility for it. Know that this is only temporary, but it's something that you must do. You can do the blame game and say, I'm going to always blame someone else for my feelings, but it's still not going to help you. So blaming feelings good in the short terms, but keep this in mind. I have to make sure you understand this. I don't care if it's good or bad. If you want to keep blaming how you feel on someone else, it's going to keep you stuck. Okay? You don't want to be stuck. This is why it is definitely your responsibility to accept that you must take ownership of how you are feeling. When you accept that you're responsible, it can be scary. I know this. I know it can be scary. But now you know that it's all on you. But you also know that it's up to you to change the narrative. But guess what? It also gives you freedom. Now, what kind of freedom you might be saying? It gives you the freedom where you can choose whether to be happy or whether to be sad, whether to be mad, whether to be angry or glad, whether to be cheerful or to be full of joy. If it's on you, that means you don't have to wait for someone else to change. It's all on you. You don't have to wait for an apology that may never come. And most of the time, it's not going to come. People don't like to apologize. Whether they say I'm sorry or apologize, they really don't like to own up that they made a mistake or that they hurt you. You don't need permission to be joyful again. This is the whole bottom line of why you must take responsibility for your own happiness, because it keeps you from having to wait on something good to come your way. Now let's talk about how to start taking responsibility. So I told you why you should. I want to tell you how to do it, okay?
We'll be back after a quick break.
If you haven't already, check out my luxury shoe and bag collection, a Layla Cara style. Each piece is personally designed by me and handcrafted from genuine Italian leather. Whether you're dressing up or keeping it casual, these pieces were made to help you walk with confidence. Because real style starts from how you feel. Go to alaylacarolstyle.com and experience these bold, timeless, and completely all you. Check it out. You might find something you like. Now, let's say that you want to change the way things has been going in your life because you're so tired of how things been going in the past years. And you notice that the way you've been doing it is just not working. It's not good enough. It's not working. It's just not changing. And you're so sick of it and you need a change to happen. So how do you do this? Here's how you take back control of your happiness. Let me give you 3 powerful practices. I want to share this with you, and I want to slow it down so you can hear it and hear it well. That way you don't have to keep rewinding and say, what did she say? Okay, so number 1. This is what you want to do every single day. You want to check your thoughts daily. A lot of times we do not pay attention to the things that we're thinking about because our mind is so overloaded with a lot of things that we're not even paying attention to when the negative energy shows up or the negative thoughts shows up. So you definitely want to do a emotional check. You have to check your emotions. Every emotion, it starts with a thought. Ask yourself, what am I telling myself about this situation? So if something happened, instead of just reacting about it, what is it that you're telling yourself about the situation? I remember when my mom was acting up or whatever, I will give you a clear example of what I mean about asking yourself, what are you telling yourself about the situation? Yesterday, my mom got so mad at me. And she got angry because I told her, stop asking me for stuff. And I don't know where this anger came from and why she even exploded like she did, but she did. And her words exactly to me was, please pardon my French. Well, it ain't French. Just pardon my profanity. But I'm going to say exactly what she said, quote unquote. She said, bitch, who the hell you think you talking to? I don't ask you for a motherfucking thing. And I was like, wow. Okay. And she wrote it in the text message, so I still got the text. When I read the text, I started thinking, What am I telling myself about this situation? Should I get angry with her? Should I cut her off and stop talking to her for a while? Or should I respond and match energy to energy? Well, first off, I never match my mom's energy to energy because she's my mother and I respect her. But I don't like to be disrespected. I have a real big problem with that. So I said to myself, since she's my mother, instead of me reacting the way she did, I am going to cut her off. I'm just going to stop talking. I'm going to cut communication ties. So what I did was I blocked her from my phone. So cuz she was still in the middle of texting after she sent that text to me. The problem that I had with her is that she was calling me. And I texted her and I told her I will call you back. And then she called me again and I texted her again. I said, I will call you back. And then she called me again. I could have answered the phone and said, hey, Mom, let me call you back. There was no way I was going to be able to say that if I did that, because she would not have allowed me to say, hey, Mom, let me call you back. She would have went straight in to what she was already tripping about, and I would have had to hang up on her. And then that would have been disrespectful. So that's why I chose not to answer the phone. So I was like, hey, I am working right now. I cannot talk to you in front of people. Let me talk to you after I get free. And she was like, if you can text me, then you can call me. I said, that's not true. I can text you because people can't hear the conversation. So if I call you, they can hear what I'm saying, and then I know you're going to be yelling and screaming, so that's not going to work for me. So I will call you later. She called back again, and she called 4 more times, and then that's when I told her, okay, I need you to stop asking me for stuff, because that's what she was calling me to ask me for money. She was asking me for money. She wanted me to give her money to cut the yard, which I had already had someone on their way to go and cut the yard, and I was going to pay that person, not her. I didn't want to give her my money because my mom has a way of not really spending the money on what you are supposed to spend the money on. So I was like, I'm not giving you the money because I don't need no excuses on why that man didn't get paid. And so you have to think about, if what you're thinking, is it negative? And if it's negative, you want to challenge it. You want to replace it or reframe it. Now, it's not always easy to do so, but you want to start practicing these things. When you're able to practice what you are thinking, then it puts it in a position where you can control your thoughts, okay? So here's number 2. Number 2 is set better boundaries. Some of us may feel that we are unhappy because we say yes when we really want to say no. I have been in that position so many times. So many times. I really believe this is why me and my mom is having our conflict. Actually, I know this is why my mom and I are having our conflict. It's because she's used to me saying yes all the time. Now, I have turned my yes into no's. One of the things that I've learned working as a correctional officer in the male prison is that it's easy to change a no into a yes, but it's very hard to change a yes into a no. That is a fact. People don't like to be told no. They can't stand it. So all these years I've been saying yes to my mom when I chose to start changing things because I was so unhappy with always saying yes. And after I have to perform whatever it is I said yes to, now I'm miserable. And I'm like, man, I wish I would have just told her no. But the problem is that over the years, actually not even over the years, I was in the past 2 years, I started paying attention to how greedy my mom really is. Because I started thinking like, okay, if I did this for her, she should not ask me for anything else for a good while. I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. So my mom had a 3-bedroom home. One of her bedrooms, it needed some work done. I chose and I took it up on myself to redo that room. I put down new flooring. I painted. I also, my mom, her AC unit had went out. So in the in between time, meantime, I chose to go and buy a window unit to put in that room just so it will have some AC in that room. I also bought a window unit for her living room. And I'm thinking like, if you have, because she had bought a window unit for herself in her bedroom. So I'm thinking like, okay, that should be good. But I also went further and I literally transformed that room completely. But I didn't get a thank you from her. What I got was, oh, this is nice. Okay, I accepted that as a thank you. But the thing is that I felt like she shouldn't ask me to do anything else for a while. At least give me a good 6 months before you start asking me for stuff. No, it went on from that. She ended up getting her car towed. I forgot what was the reason for her getting her car towed, but she needed $300 to get it out. My husband gave her money to help her to get her car out. And yeah, she said she was going to pay him back. But he told her, go ahead and keep the money. No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You think that she would have been grateful for that? No, she wasn't grateful for that. She went on to still ask for other things. Now I got to a point where it's like, okay, I'd have done so much for her. And I didn't even realize that I'd done as much for her until my best friend pointed it out to me the other day. She said, girl, I can name everything that in this past year that you've done for your mama. And it's a lot. And I was thinking like, really? She said, no, you don't pay attention to that because you're always doing. So other people who on the outside can see what you do, but you just constantly think it's another situation that you could fix. That's why she takes advantage of you. So you need to stop doing that. Well, she was right. Because when I started really paying attention, that's when I started noticing, now I'm finna start saying no. And when I started saying no, now my mom is angry and it's a backlash. If you guys get that from people, it's okay. It is okay. Don't worry about it. What you need to know is that your peace is tied into your ability to protect your energy. Learn to disappoint others so you don't have to disappoint yourself. Number 3, give yourself what you've been waiting for. Don't wait to be celebrated. Celebrate yourself. You know you got a birthday coming up? You better start celebrating now. Why wait till your birthday to celebrate? Start now. For instance, so my husband now, he's on his way to Paris. And then he's going to fly to Spain. And he has basketball stuff to do. But our anniversary is at the end of next month. I know that I have to work tomorrow. So I'm not going to sit and wait for my husband to get back to celebrate. No, I'm going where he's at, and we're going to start celebrating our anniversary early. And that's what I'm trying to say. Celebrate yourself. Don't wait to be celebrated, all right? Don't wait to take yourself out. Don't wait to be taken out. You don't want to wait to have a date in order to go out to a restaurant that you've been wanting to go to for a very long time. Don't do that. Now, when I was in my dating stage, when I was not married and I didn't have a boyfriend, but I was waiting to have a boyfriend so I can go out and have a good time. No, I was like, nope, I'm finna go. If I want to check out this restaurant because I want to taste their food or whatever, I would go myself, or I would have what I call a friend date. Me and my friend was like, hey, let's go on a date. We're gonna date ourselves. And we did this year after year, every single month, we will find a restaurant that we never had tried or that we have tried and we like it so much we want to go back. And we will go to the restaurant and we'll sit down and try it. Now, I was always the one who would go to the movies by myself. I started that situation when I was in high school. Yeah, whenever when I was a senior in high school, whenever I did not really want to go to class, I would go to the movies. Yeah, I know it's bad, but hey, I did. I'm not even gonna make excuses, but I'm gonna tell you this. When I was a senior in high school, I didn't live with my mom anymore. I moved out of her house when I was 18 years old, and I still had one more year left of school. And I was like, I'm not going to spend another year with this woman. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move out. And me and my best friend at the time, we're going to go ahead and we're going to move in together. And that's exactly what I did. And whenever I went to school and there was really nothing to do, and what I mean by nothing to do, I'm talking about towards the last semester of the year, things started dwindling down and was nothing really to do. So we were just going to class just to be going to class. I'd already had my credits. Everything was done. I'm just waiting for graduation. Actually, I'm waiting for the last day of school. So I would be like, I'm not going to school today. I'm going to go to the movies instead. And I will go to the movies by myself. I got in the habit of going to the movies by myself to where whenever there was a new movie out, I didn't wait for a man to go to the movies. I didn't wait to be courted or go on a date to go to the movies. I just went. So that's what I'm trying to say. Don't wait to be taken out. Just go on your own and take yourself out. Get dressed up, get cute, but don't be overly cute if you by yourself, ladies, because you don't want to draw too much attention and someone want to follow you home. So just be cute enough to be like the girl next door is what I'm trying to say. And also, don't wait to be understood. Start understanding yourself. You have to become the source, not the seeker. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, be the source of that, okay? So, what happens really? What is happiness? Do you know? What is it? What does it really look like? Do you know? Do you know what happiness look like to you? A lot of people don't know that. They don't even know what happiness is. They just like the sound of it, or they heard it enough times to where they think it's just something to do. But happiness is not a feeling. Yeah, most people don't know that. It's actually internally. It's an internal spirit that's in you that stirs you to be a certain way. Happiness doesn't mean that you are smiling 24/7. No, that's not what it is. It doesn't even mean that something is not going wrong. It doesn't even mean that, because something can actually be going wrong and you still can be happy. And people don't even realize that that is exactly what that is. It's nothing crazy. It means that even when things are hard, you don't lose your center. It means you know how to return to peace even after chaos. It means you live in alignment with you, with your values, not what others expect of you. Yeah. And I just want you to understand that that's what happiness is. That's why you are responsible for it. And no one else, and no one can bring you to your center. No one. Only you can do that. That's the reason why you are responsible for it. So here's the beautiful part. When you become responsible for your happiness, you stop resenting other people for not giving you what they were never meant to provide. No one is meant to provide happiness for you. That is your responsibility. So let's talk about tapping into conditional happiness. How do you tap into that? Well, is it conditional or is it non-conditional? That is a thought to think of. Why do happiness have to have conditions on it? It's really a trap. When you have a condition on your happiness, then you're trapping yourself. And what I mean by that, do you say these phrases? I'll be happy when I lose weight. Is that you? I'll be happy when I get married. Or is this you? I'll be happy when I get that job. Let me drop a bomb on you. This is a truth bomb right here, baby. The problem with conditional happiness is that it delays joy. It teaches your brain that happiness is always in the future and not in the now. I want to leave you with something to think about. Don't postpone joy for a destination that you might grow out of. Yeah. A lot of the times we outgrow things that we say that will bring us happiness. For example, when you say, I'll be happy when I lose weight. Let's say you work out hard and you start losing that weight and you finally get down to your desired weight and you like it. And let's say you've been there at this weight for about 3 years now. Are you still having that same feeling that you had when you stepped on that scale for the first time and saw your ideal weight? No, you're not. You don't have that same feeling. That feeling was temporary. It is not there no more. The same thing that goes with marriage and getting a job that you want. Like when I became a flight attendant, before I became a flight attendant, I really wanted to be a flight attendant because I wanted to travel and I wanted to have a job that would give me the independence where I can come and go when I want. What I mean by that is that I don't have to be on a 9 to 5 schedule. I can make my own schedule, work when I really want to work, and if I really don't feel like working, I don't have to go. As long as I can get someone else to take my trip, that's all that matters. And that is all that matters with being a flight attendant. They don't care about you working that flight. All they care about is that flight get worked by somebody who is certified to work it. So I was like, okay, when I get this job, I'm going to be so happy. That was my thoughts because I really felt that way. This was back in 2015, 16, and I was thinking like, hey, this is going to be awesome. They called me on my birthday, on my 38th birthday, to tell me that I got the job. I was super excited, you guys. I was so happy about this. And as I started going to the ground school, because they put you through school, and I started realizing how much I was going to have to do, and we had tests every single Friday for 6 weeks straight. I didn't have enough time to even do my own schoolwork because I was also in school for entrepreneurship and business operation, as well as I was doing a lot, as well as human resource. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is just too much. But I managed to get it done, though. I managed to get it done. I just had to cut out the partying and just focus. I realized that when I got online, they call it online when you actually get out there and you start flying. It wasn't as glamorous as I thought it was. What I had in my mind and what we see on TV is completely not that, okay? And my happiness started going down fast. And it went down so fast when I got that first paycheck. And I was like, this is not it. I was making more money at my other job before this. Oh, heck no. My first paycheck was $500. Yes, it was. I cried like a baby. I was like, if this is what it's going to be like, I'm going to quit this job because there's no way I am going to be trying to work this job and pay my bills. I can't pay rent with this. I can barely even pay a car note. I can't pay my car note and my phone bill at the same time. I'm going to have to choose which one to pay for. Oh, I was livid. I was so hurt. So that's what I'm saying. You have to figure out what to do when it comes to your happiness. I ended up sticking it out though. You probably say, but you only making $500 a month. I still made money in another way. That was a need. That was a need there. So I can either keep my job and do what I'm enjoying doing. And I was loving being a flight attendant though. It was very fun. But like I said, the money wasn't great. And I had to figure out what else to do. And that's when I started thinking about what do I like doing besides just traveling. And I learned that I like to write. That's when I started writing my books. I realized also that I like to talk to people, and that's what I'm doing right now. I like helping people, and that's what made me start my business, imaging coaching, and I can be a life coach. And I started doing other things. That's what I'm trying to tell you, to compensate for extra money. Now, everybody is not going to want to do that because it's going to feel like you are literally overworking, but you have to figure it out in some kind of way. What is it that you're going to do to make yourself keep your joy? Now, let me give you some tips. What you want to do is practice joy in progress. Probably say, what is that? You want to learn how to be content while becoming. That's what that is. Be content in where you are right now today. You want to ask yourself, if this moment never change, if it never change, it stay just like it is right now, whatever's going on in your life right now today, could I find peace in it? And if you say no, I cannot find peace in this, now it is time for you to figure out a way to change some things, okay? I want to talk about external validation versus internal fulfillment. Are you chasing approval? And I'm talking about approval from others. Are you chasing that? Are you addicted to being liked, accepted, or even applauded? Social media have us in this era where we are addicted to our likes. We're addicted to people applauding us in our accomplishment. Every time that something goes great, we post it and we're waiting to get a response from others about it. We go back and check. Did someone say something? We have our notifications on, and the minute that it dings, we go and check and read it. And when someone says something good about it, you get excited and you get filled with dopamine. But then when someone says something negative about it, you get angry, you get upset, you get sad or depressed. That's a problem. See, this is what I do. I don't really look at everybody's posts. That's one thing I really don't. Whenever I'm on social media and I see something, if it catches my attention, I look at it. And sometimes I go and I read the comments because sometimes I really want to know what people are saying about what's going on in that post. Especially this one post yesterday, I cracked up laughing. I really enjoy looking at people's posts where it's funny. I just do. It's just one of those things where if I'm on social media, you gotta make me laugh. And you might say, why do I gotta make you laugh? Well, not saying to you per se. I'm just talking about when I'm on there, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for laughter. So it was this guy and this girl, and I'm pretty sure y'all probably seen it by now. It probably went viral by now. They was at a gas pump and they was fighting each other. And all I saw was gasoline flying everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God, if somebody strike a match or any type of spark, they are both going to go up in flames. Now, it wasn't funny because of the fact that they can go up in flames. It was funny because I've never seen anything like this before. And I'm saying, are they really that mad at each other that they are fighting with the gas pump? And not the fact, I don't condone violence, and I definitely don't condone the fact that it was a guy and a girl fighting each other. But I have to say the girl did have the best of the guy. And I still don't condone that either. But what I am saying is that I was so surprised to see how everyone was pulling up at this gas pump, watching them, and the commentating of what people were saying had me laughing, because I'm saying to myself, people are crazy. I mean, are y'all literally doing this right now? And then someone else said, gas is too high to be wasted it like that. I'm thinking like, that is true. That is true. But the problem that I'm seeing here is that they are literally covered with it. Please, nobody strike a match. And then someone else said something about if they got in the car, oh my goodness, they both gonna be smelling like gasoline on the way home. No one can even light a cigarette after that fight. It was crazy. I just have to say, when it comes down to people and the things that people do, I don't know if that was for likes or was it for applaud or whatever it was. You will see so much out there, and you have to take in consideration what is your reason why you are posting. What is the reason why you're choosing to continue to go back and forth to read the messages, because you're not going to always get what you want from people when you post things. Like I said earlier, when I post something, I tend to not really read everybody's comment unless I know the person. If I know the person, I will read their comments, but everybody else, I don't too much give into it. I don't too much give into it because there are a lot of people out there that are very negative and they like to say things just to get under your skin. And I know that I am responsible for my own happiness and my own joy. So I am not going to put myself in this position to read these negative comments when I know it's going to vex my spirit. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Are you that type of person that you can't help yourself? You have to go into listening and reading what other people have to say about you, whether it is good or bad. So external validation is like candy. It gives you a rush, but it doesn't nurture your soul. And internal fulfillment, which is what you should be having, is like real food. It's slow, steady, and sustainable. That's what you need to be looking for. This is how you're going to be able to get your happiness. This is how you're going to be able to create it. It needs to be an internal situation, an internal fulfillment for you. So I have a question for you. What activities, values, or moments make you feel aligned even when no one is watching? What is it that you do? What is it that you value? What are those moments that align with your feelings? And I'm talking about things that you don't have to worry about even if someone is watching or not watching. What are those things? An activity for me is that I pray. I talk to God. So if someone is watching me and they might see my mouth moving, sometimes my mouth is moving because I'm praying, and they be like, huh? I say, oh, no, I'm just praying. And I tell them, hey, I'm just praying. That's what I was doing. I was talking to God. Oh. I'm not going to stop talking to God because you look at me. That's just what it is. Some people might say, oh, I don't want people to think I'm talking to myself. Yeah, sometimes I talk to myself. I'll be talking to myself, especially when I'm chastising myself. When I'm telling myself, you should have done that. You shouldn't have done that. Hey, whatever. It's one of those things. So let's talk about the blame game. What is the blame game? The blame game is the victim mindset. You have to be very careful if this is you, or even if you are around people who do this. The victim mindset is, I'm this way because what they did to me, because of how they did me, because of they did that to me. Blame keep you emotionally handcuffed to the past. Sometimes we get angry because it makes us feel righteous. You have to understand you're not the victim. Even if you were a victim, you may not have caused your pain, but healing is still your responsibility. You don't owe your pain loyalty, okay? So you need to come up with a better way of dealing with what happened to you. Go to counseling. Talk about it to someone who can actually give you some sound advice to help you move past whatever that's going on with you. But you cannot continue to blame others for your situation. You know, you might say, okay, Alayla, you're not being fair here. And I'm going to say to you, it comes a time in your life where you have to move past the hurt. And you got to move past the pain and start healing from it so you can get your happiness, so you can find happiness. And the way you find happiness is that you have to start taking on the role of gratitude. The role of gratitude and happiness is when you realize that you are still here. You're still alive. You are still blessed. You're still surviving. It's almost impossible to be both to be both grateful. I'm gonna say gratitude, but both grateful and miserable at the same time. Yeah, it is almost impossible. I don't know how many people can actually be grateful and miserable at the same time, but I do know someone like that. In one breath, they say, I am so grateful and happy for you and thank you for all that you've done for me, and then turn around the next moment and say, you ain't done nothing for me. And I'm like, what? Okay, you just told me that you was happy and thankful for what I did, but now you're telling me that I ain't done nothing for you. Okay, something's wrong with you. And okay, but it is almost impossible to be both at the same time. Happiness is not always about adding more to your life. It's about noticing that you have what you have. So it's not always about adding more to your life. It's about noticing more. You notice more what you have, okay? What you already have. Here are some gratitude practices I did. I want to give you something to practice to help you with your gratitude. When you wake up in the morning, you want to say something that you're blessed about. Give yourself 3 things that you're blessed about. One is that when I wake up, I thank God for waking me up. That's the first thing. Thank you, Father, for waking me up this morning to see another day. I don't know how today is going to go, but I am so grateful that I am still here to see it. That's one. Number 2, thank you that my family woke up, my husband woke up, my sons woke up, my dog woke up, and my mother, even though she's as crazy as she can be, she's still with us. Thank you. My dad, he's grateful. My brother, he got himself together. I am so grateful for that. Thank you. I don't have to worry about them. And then thank you that I'm still able to have a roof over my head. I'm so thankful that I still have my transportation. I'm thank you. I ain't got to ask nobody for no ride nowhere, and I don't have to be paying for ride shares all the time. Those are gratitudes. Those are things to be grateful for. So you want to find 3 things every single day when you wake up, whether it's morning, noon, night, because some of you guys might work at night like I used to. And then just be thankful. That's going to set the tone for the rest of your day. And then when your day is almost over and you're going into your moments where it's time to go to sleep, what you also want to do is Ask yourself, what went right today? Reflect on your day. So you want to lay in bed or just sit on the couch and start reflecting on what actually went well for you today. And I can tell you one thing, if you are at home sitting on your couch or in your bed and you was able to get out there in this crazy world and make it back home, that is definitely something to be grateful for. I don't know about you, but I do know that is something to be grateful for. You made it home safe. And now I want to give you an assignment to do. Yeah, I'm going to give you another assignment later on in this too. Write yourself a gratitude letter. Ooh, yeah. And if you don't want to write it to yourself, then write a gratitude letter to people who never would have expected it. Oh man, I'm preaching to the choir right now. I should be doing this myself to my mom, right? I should be like, Mama, I thank you for bringing me life into this world. You didn't have to bring me to. You could have aborted me, because back then abortion was allowed. You could have miscarried me, but you didn't. You still fed me, even though you didn't have to. You paved the way for me to be able to be a flight attendant, to be able to be married, to be able to have what I have in this life. So I'm grateful for her. I just can't let her disrespect me the way she did. I can't take that. That's something that I don't take well. So when I am ready to talk to her again, I'm going to write her a good letter. And I'm going to just explain to her. And that's the best way to get things out, if you don't know that. Now, I used to write letters to my ex-husband, my first husband. Oh, I wrote him letters a lot because he was a lot like my mom when it comes to not listening when you're trying to talk. They over talk and don't let you get a word out. So I would write a letter and express my feelings and leave the letter on the table and leave the house. And then he would read the letter, and I don't know if he tore it up, he tore it up. If he kept it. I don't know. The letter wasn't there. But I knew he read the letter because he would talk about some of the things that I wrote in the letter. That's how I would know he actually read it. But it helped me to get things out. So that's what I'm saying. Write a letter to people who would never expect it. And write a gratitude letter to them. Don't write something about, you did this, you did that, you did this. Don't do that to them. Just say something nice. It would change a whole lot. You will see the difference in their attitude towards you. Now, they might not change. They still might be the same old person, especially if they up in age, because a lot of people, when they get a certain age, they get settled and stuck in their ways. But it'll help you to be able to release all the animosity that you probably had towards that person. I want to give you a tip. Gratitude rewires your brain to look for the beauty instead of what you are lacking. All right? So gratitude, it rewires your brain to look for beauty instead of what are lacking. We are so wired to look for things that are wrong in our lives. But when you have the attitude of gratitude, you find yourself looking for beauty instead of what's wrong. This is part 1. I want to get into part 2. I don't want to continue on with stretching this here out. So this is part 1, and we're going to talk about part 2. And part 2 is going to be about letting go of emotional codependency. I'm also going to talk about, I'm going to talk about choosing happiness daily, even when life is hard. I want to teach you about making a journal, something that you can do if you are the type of person who like to write, or let's say you never wrote before, you want to start writing. Journaling is awesome. you guys. I do this when I'm in my feelings about something and I can't really talk to people or the person that I want to actually express myself to, I write. So I know it works good for me, but I'm telling you it will work great for you as well. I also want to talk about signs you're avoiding personal happiness. I'm going to get into the worthiness womb. What is a worthiness womb? And why it's hard to choose happiness for those of you who don't know how to do that. Childhood conditioning and early messages. I want to talk about that as well. I'm going to also talk about the false belief that suffering equals strength. And that's a problem because I used to think that because you suffer, the more you suffer, the stronger you are. Nah, that ain't true. We all suffer, but that's not something that we have to do to make ourselves strong. And I want to talk about self-sabotage and the upper limit problems. What is that? Yes, I'm going to talk about that as well. I'm also going to talk about how to start reclaiming your worthiness. And I'm going to give you some pointers. I'm also going to give you some pointers on what to do and how to overcome self-sabotaging. So that is going to be part 2. So stay tuned to part 2. It's coming up next. In the meantime, I'm signing out. Alayla.
Are you feeling overwhelmed and exhausted by stress? Introducing Stress Management with Imaging Coaching, your ticket to a calmer, more balanced life. In this journey you will be taking with us here at Imaging Coaching, we'll equip you with powerful techniques and tools you can use to conquer stress, regain control, and transform your life. From deep breathing exercises to mindfulness practices, you'll discover the tools to relax your mind and body. Come join us on this transformative path and unlock a world of inner peace and resilience. Don't let stress hold you back any longer. Take charge of your well-being today with Imaging Coaching, your stress management team. Discover clarity. Defeat stress through Imaging Coaching at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com.